Hey there, welcome back to the Harkla YouTube channel. We're so happy to have you with us today. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jessica. We're the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistants with Harkla, and today we're going to talk about how primitive reflexes are the foundation of the pyramid of learning.
When we created this outline for this YouTube video, I just got so excited. I absolutely love talking about this pyramid of learning. Insert a beautiful graphic here so you can see what it looks like. You can just kind of have a quick visual of how important this visual is and this concept is.
Yeah, we've talked about the pyramid of learning in other YouTube videos, in our podcast, All Things Sensory. We talk about the pyramid of learning in our digital courses because the pyramid of learning is really important when we're looking at our children, when we're looking at ourselves as adults and trying to figure out why we're struggling in certain areas. Why are we struggling with ADHD and executive functioning? Why are we struggling with processing certain types of sensory input? Why are we struggling with reading and writing? And when we look at the pyramid of learning, you can see that the higher level skills are at the top of the pyramid, but at the bottom, the foundation is sensory processing and primitive reflexes. And we know that if pieces of that foundation are missing, then you're not going to be able to access those higher levels of that pyramid of learning, which is really the higher levels of your brain, because that foundation isn't strong enough.
Exactly. So you think about it from a functional standpoint, because as occupational therapy practitioners, our goal is to look at a child and say, where are they struggling and how is that impacting them functionally, specifically with their primitive reflexes? How are these retained reflexes negatively impacting them? So we are sending kids to school and we're asking them to do these top of the pyramid activities. So things like reading, writing, ocular motor skills, social
emotional
skills.
regulation.
Exactly. So all of these top of the pyramid activities. The challenge with that is that a lot of kids, and I mean, we could even say 75% of kids, because that's kind of what the research is showing is 75% of kids have at least one retained reflex that is negatively impacting them. But let's say that 50% of kids are going to school and they don't have that strong base of support that we're talking. They don't have the strong foundation of sensory integration and primitive reflex integration. We're sending them to school saying, hey, do this, do this, do this. And they're falling behind. They're becoming behavioral students. They're avoiding their schoolwork. They are struggling. They're getting behind. No one's looking at this base of the pyramid.
Well, we are.
Well, of course. But the general population isn't saying, well, have you looked at their primitive reflexes? Have you looked at their sensory processing abilities? No. And that's what we're here today to tell you to do. If you do have a child, or if you're working with a child, or if you teach a child who is struggling in any of these higher level cognitive tasks, take it back and look at the base of the pyramid and see where we're at.
So what do you do? Besides asking that question, we want to give you 5 things that you can do to help build that strong foundation for your child, or if you find that you as the adult, maybe you're a teenager, we have some teens who've commented on our videos.
Yeah,
so whoever you are, if you're struggling or know someone who's struggling, here are 5 things that you can do to help build a strong foundation. And the first one is to incorporate more sensory activities into your daily routine. We call it a sensory lifestyle, sensory diet routine, whatever you want to call it. Start incorporating sensory rich activities, more movement, more heavy work. Look at changing the lights in your house or your office. Look at the food that you're eating. Are you eating always bland, soft foods? Or are you incorporating more sensory rich foods that are crunchy and chewy and resistive and smell and taste different? There's a whole list of things we could go on about incorporating more sensory activities, but instead of just dragging this video on forever, we'll redirect you to our free sensory diet webinar where we list off and give you specific sensory activities to incorporate into the routine to help build a strong foundation in sensory processing.
Great, that was a lot. Number 2, we are going to move. We are going to get up. We are going to get off of our bottoms. We are going to build movement breaks into our daily routine. If you are sitting down for hours and hours and hours, you need to make sure that you are getting up at least every hour, crawling on the floor, doing some jumping jacks, doing some windmills, go outside, smell the roses, look at the sunlight, not directly at it, but you get what I'm saying. Get outside, move your body, go for a walk, go for a bike ride. Movement is essential to building that foundation. Whether you have an infant, that baby should be going through those natural developmental milestones, they should be moving freely. Whether you are our age, you should be exercising every day. Whether you are a kid in school, you should be getting up and you should be moving. Put the screens down, take a break, focus on movement.
Yes. The third thing is this is specifically for parents with children who are struggling, but number 3 is to start narrating and talking about the things that are going on. So instead of telling your child, okay, go do this and this and this, actually talk and have a conversation with them about, okay, here's our daily routine, here's the things we need to get done, here's why, and then also start modeling some of these strategies yourself and talking about why you're using these strategies so that your child can not only see you using the strategies, but can better understand why you are using these strategies, which then in turn helps them to be more likely to also use strategies throughout the day.
Yep. The next one, number 4, is to be emotionally present and emotionally stable with your child. This is especially important for integrating the Moro reflex. We have to know that children have a safe place to learn and grow and develop. Whether you are maybe in an argument with your partner and your kids are around, taking that into a separate room or saving it for later, because we just want our kids to feel safe, especially at school too. Wherever the child is the majority of the time, make sure that that is a safe environment in order to help those reflexes integrate.
Number 5, we've already talked about movement, but this is gonna be a little more specific to adding in some sort of new, challenging physical activity or sporting routine into the routine. So this is true for your child, but also for you if maybe you do find that you're going on a walk every day or you go do a regular workout routine. Is it the same all the time? Or can you find new ways to challenge your motor coordination, challenge your sensory processing in new and different ways with some other sort of workout routine, some other type of movement that you've never done? And for your child, what different sporting activities can you encourage them to do that maybe they've never done before? Maybe they've never done rock climbing before and you can go do some rock climbing classes to just change up that routine and encourage different types of neural pathways to develop in the brain by learning a new motor skill.
Yeah, some of our favorites are things like rock climbing, swimming, martial arts, pickleball, volleyball. It doesn't necessarily, piano, it doesn't necessarily have to be an athletic activity, although that would be ideal, but something new to challenge the brain and, focus on what your child is good at and their preferences and their skills. That's how we build confidence. And when we have confident kids, then we can really work on integrating those reflexes even more.
Yes.
So hopefully that helps.
Yes. If this video was helpful, if you enjoyed it, if you liked something that we talked about, leave us a comment. Make sure you share this with somebody else who might enjoy it. And then make sure you subscribe to the Harkla YouTube channel. We drop a new video every Tuesday. And if you're subscribed, you'll never miss a new one.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Come hang out with us. That's where we are. You can find us at All Things Sensory Podcast, as well as Harkla_family.
And we also have the podcast, All Things Sensory. We are on iTunes, Spotify. We're also on video. It's on the All Things Sensory Podcast YouTube channel.
And with that, we'll plan on seeing you next week.
Hair check.
Hair check. Mic check. Check, check. E.
Yeah. Mic drop.